Now, if you're wondering what kind of vice president Mike Pence would make in a Trump administration, well, who his role model is, who he would like to be like, to govern like, will tell you all you need to know. During an interview on ABC News' This Week, Mike Pence was asked, hey man, who do you look up to? Who do you want to govern like? And he had this to say.
I frankly hold Dick Cheney in very high regard in his role as vice president and as an American
That's the
leader.
kind of vice president you'd want to be?
Well, I think a very active vice president. Vice President Cheney had experience in the Congress, as I do, and he was very active in working with members of the House and the Senate.
How about your portfolio? What have you talked to Mr. Trump about your portfolio as vice president?
Well, we've talked a bit about that. I'll probably keep our private conversations private.
Okay.
But
give us a little hint there.
I think Donald Trump's got an agenda to get this country moving again. I hope that I'll be an effective.
And just one more thing on Dick Cheney. I mean, Dick Cheney was often criticized as being too much of a force over the president.
Well, I think what I admire most in vice presidents is when they're able to take the vision of the president and champion that on Capitol Hill. And I would hope that my relationships over my 12 years in Congress and my 4 years here as governor of Indiana would help me carry Donald Trump's vision to make America great again.
Classic non-answer. All right. But let me get to the part that actually matters. I frankly hold Dick Cheney in really high regard in his role as vice president and as an American. Dick Cheney, the mastermind, the architect of the disastrous war in Iraq. The guy that still won't apologize, by the way, for helping create ISIS through the Iraq war. That Dick Cheney? The Dick Cheney that's more machine than man now? That Dick Cheney? The Dick Cheney that made, that was CEO of the company, Halliburton, that made nearly $40 billion off the war in Iraq. That wasted essentially $2 trillion or trillions of dollars worth of our money, right? And as well as the hundreds of thousands of Iraqis killed and the thousands of servicemen and women who were killed and injured from this war. That Dick Cheney, that's who you look up to. That's the guy you look up to. You could find better role models, dude. Seriously. Now, here's the thing, right? Mike Pence would actually be the guy. It wouldn't be Donald Trump. You think you're voting for Donald Trump? No. You're actually going to get Mike Pence. That's the guy you're going to get that's going to essentially run the country. Don't believe me? Let's go back to a New York Times article. Came out a couple of months ago. Now, it says, one day this past May. Oh, that kind of rhymes. All right. Donald Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., reached out to a senior advisor to Governor John Kasich of Ohio, who had just left the presidential race a few weeks before. As a candidate, Kasich declared in March that Trump was really not prepared to be president of the United States. And the following month, he took the highly unusual step of coordinating with Ted Cruz in order to deny Trump the nomination. Now, here's the thing, right? According to a Kasich advisor, who spoke only on the condition of anonymity, Donald Trump Jr. wanted to make him an offer nonetheless. And the offer was this. Do you have any interest in being the most powerful vice president in history? That's what the Trump campaign was saying. Hey, if you become MVP, you're going to be powerful. And what does that mean, powerful? It means you're going to have a lot of the responsibility. Trump's not going to be doing anything. No, he's going to be out being on Twitter or doing speeches or trying to be on Celebrity Apprentice again. I don't know. But he wouldn't be governing. No, that would be the vice president's job. Now, when Kasich's advisor asked how this would be the case, how he would be the most powerful vice president in history of America, Donald Jr. explained that his father's vice president would be in charge of domestic and foreign policy. Meaning, if you're voting for Donald Trump, you're not going to get Donald Trump governing. Donald Trump's going to be a figurehead. He's going to be like the Queen of England. Mike Pence is going to be doing all the real work. He's going to be doing all the policy. Now think about that, right? Mike Pence is a very, very big right-winger. Okay? Donald Trump is malleable at most. It really kind of depends who's the last person to talk to him is. That's how he is on policy. Maybe I'll build a wall, maybe I won't. Maybe we'll have really tight immigration. Maybe we'll work with them. Maybe I'll deport 11 million undocumented immigrants, or maybe we'll figure it out. We'll get together, we'll work on it. He has no solid positions. His positions are dictated by everyone else, by the last person that he talks to. And the last person he's going to be talking to, if he becomes president, is Mike Pence. Or at least he's going to be talking to him a lot. Now, what does Mike Pence believe in? Now, Mike Pence had once argued during the last minimum wage increase that went from $5.51 on the federal level. I remember I was working at Meijer and I got that raise. I was like, ooh, $7.25. I'm making more money now. Mike Pence thinks, no, that was too high. He made the classic argument against raising the minimum wage. Oh, it's $7.25. It's too high. It's going to hurt the job creators. Well, that's what he believes in, $7.25. Too high. Way too high. Now, Donald Trump, he's going between $10 but the states really should do it, and it's too high. $7.25 is too high, right? He's got no concrete position on this. Once again, it all depends on who's around him. If Mike Pence is going to be around him, well, he's going to think $7.25 is too high. Let's get rid of it. Now, Mike Pence also voted in favor of employers that tried to crush unions. Oh, you gonna try to unionize on my in my shop, in my store? No. Fuck you. I'm gonna do everything I can to crush you, and it's legal. Thanks to Mike Pence in Indiana. Great, fantastic. Now, for those of you who care about education, right? Mike Pence voted no on $84 million in grants for black and Hispanic colleges. Care about education in your minority? Well, you're not going to be interested in Donald Trump. Not only that, but Pence, of course, is famously very, very, very strict on abortion, right? He's not good for reproductive rights. And so neither would a Trump administration. He's also super hard on drugs. Very, very classic, like, no, throw them all in prison. If you're somebody looking for change, that's not the kind of change we want. In fact, that's going backwards. Not only that, but more backwards positions from Mike Pence, which would likely become Trump's presidential positions. More oil drilling, more oil subsidies, and being against any subsidies for green energy. So when it comes to the issue of climate change, no change there. In fact, it goes the opposite way. We're going to put more carbon into the atmosphere. It's going to exacerbate climate change even more. That's the change you'll get with Donald Trump. Thanks to Mike Pence. And just the fact that Mike Pence looks up to Dick Cheney, that's even worse. So please know that if you're voting for Donald Trump because you want to change the system, this is what you're going to get. Okay? You can't focus on the stuff that Donald Trump says, because what he says makes no difference. He runs off at the mouth. He tweets a lot of stupid crap, but this is the kind of stuff that a Trump administration would actually do. This is the kind of stuff that would happen under a Donald Trump or Mike Pence administration, really, if you're talking about it, because he's going to be the Dick Cheney to Donald Trump. And if that doesn't concern you, I don't know what will. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.